Currently, we're at Vasco da Gama pillar. As you can see, there are some visitors. We have the school children around. Yeah, this is it. Vasco da Gama pillar. It is located next to the Indian Ocean. This is the shore of the ocean. So when it was being built, this was just a coral for trading on the sea. It was singed by water. But nowadays, because the sea has resented, as we saw in the other video, so it appears to be left behind by the waters. So the sea is just here. You can see some things protruding from that end. So these are wave breakers. These are wave breakers. The breakers, the essence of the National Museums of Kenya of having the wave breakers there is because that's the pillar. Yeah. Mwalimu, internet imerudi. Oh, John. So these wave breakers, these are wave breakers. Their essence here is to break the waves so that when they are approaching the pillar, they are not that strong, because before they were placed there, the waves from the ocean, they were eroding the pillar. That's why these wave breakers, they were placed here. Then next to the pillar is the Mbutwani beach, and the bridge we were in the morning, that was the port of Malindi, the ancient port of Malindi. Yeah, there are a lot of wave breakers, as you can see around. And behind me is the pillar. So this is the second pillar. The first pillar, which was built in 1499, was demolished by the Muslim community. It was demolished by the Muslim community because they were not agreeing with the pillar, because as you can see at the top there, the pillar was built to erect that cross. That cross in Portuguese, it is called a bandrao. Only that I don't know if it is clear on your other side. The cross has the Portuguese coat of arms at the top. I don't know if on the other end you can see it. Let me try to zoom it. Yes, that's the Portuguese coat of arms. Yeah, so the cross, history says the cross is all original. It was recovered after the first pillar was destroyed. So before Vasco da Gama, Vasco da Gama was not the first person to be prompted by the Portuguese. I'm saying Vasco da Gama was not the first person to be prompted by the Portuguese government to conduct the exploration. First of all, Vasco da Gama knew India was there so that he can go and find the sea route. By then, there existed Mediterranean trade. Mediterranean trade existed at the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea is just next to Egypt, next to north of Africa and south of Europe. So by then, there were Romans from Venice. It's called the Republic of Venice. Now this is a town in Italy. There were Romans there who acted as middlemen in the Mediterranean trade, who used to buy spices from the ports of Cairo, Memphis, Eridu, and all the ports of Israel, Yemen. That way, they used to buy those spices from the Arabs and Indians there. Then they would export, not export, but they would trade with the Portuguese, the Spaniards on the other end. So that's how Mediterranean trade used to take place, and through that Mediterranean trade, that's where now they came to know that those spices were coming from Indians, and the Indians were coming from east. So now, due to exploitation from the middlemen who are the Romans, the Portuguese decided to find an alternative route where they can get the goods from the source. So the first person who was really yearning to conduct that voyage to be funded is called Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus is the person who discovered Caribbean and South America. He was an Italian, but he had married a Portuguese. That's why, and the Portuguese he had married was from a royal family. That's why he had a connection with the government. So he was a navigator, and they wanted to fund Christopher Columbus to conduct the exploration. Although he had a lot of confidence because he had already carried out exploration in the Caribbean. But in this one, the exploration to India, he got it wrong because it was approximating the distance from Portugal to India is around 4,400 kilometers. But the Portuguese government differed. They said the distance from Portugal to India is fairly 10,000 kilometers plus. So they refused to fund him. And that's how Christopher Columbus was taken out of the list of the explorers who would find the sea route to India. So the next person to try exploration was called Bartolomeo Diaz. Now Bartolomeo Diaz was funded by the Portuguese government, but he took off from Portugal around 1488. He sailed all the way to South Africa, where we have the Cape of Good Hope at the border of Indian and Atlantic Ocean. I guess the waters of those two oceans don't mix. So Bartolomeo Diaz traveled. Tulikuwa tumekamata watu walikuwa na watch movie. Yes, so welcome back. We have had some little technical challenges in terms of internet, but we are back. So I was explaining how Bartolomeo Diaz, how his voyage failed. So he was funded by the Portuguese government to conduct the voyage to India. So he took off. His voyage was in the year 1488. He came all the way from Portugal up to the Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope is at the border of where Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean border. So when he got to the Cape of Good Hope, he found the ocean was so violent, particularly the Indian Ocean, due to those monsoon winds, you understand. So when he found the sea was so violent, he couldn't continue with his voyage. And also food supplies, the food supplies which he had carried, they couldn't allow him to further sail because he ran out of food supplies. So the mission had failed for that explorer, that navigator called Bartholomew Diaz. So he sailed back to Portugal, and this mission had failed. Now, the Portuguese government decided to fund Vasco da Gama now to carry out the exploration after the first two explorers failed. Now, Vasco da Gama was considered because his father was a navigator, and by then there was another navigator called Prince Henry the Navigator, who used to carry out navigation from West Africa, I mean from Portugal to West Africa, but mainly was trading gold. So Prince Henry the Navigator opened a navigation school. That's where Vasco da Gama got the education about sea navigation, and also his father also helped him to learn about sea navigation. Otherwise, that's what we call the apprenticeship. That's why he learned sea navigation from his father, and also formally at the School of Navigation, which was founded by Prince Henry the Navigator. He was a Portuguese too. So after being the most competent person in sea navigation, he was considered by King of Portugal by then, was called King Malcolm I, to carry out the sea navigation. He was funded. So in the year 1497, at the Easter normally is on April normally. He sailed. His voyage kicked off. He was leading a fleet of 4 ships, carrying 107 Portuguese, and inside the ships they carried the limestone which they were building these pillars with, and food supplies, and also cowrie shells. Cowrie shells, they are things which I think by then Arabs were using cowrie shells as money. So they sailed from Portugal in the Easter of 1497, all the way to the Cape of Good Hope. Fortunately, Vasco da Gama rounded the Cape of Good Hope successfully, unlike his predecessor Bartholomew Diaz. After rounding the Cape of Good Hope successfully, actually by then it was on December 1497. Remember, he began his journey in Easter of April 1497, and on 2nd December 1497 he approached the Cape of Good Hope and rounded it successfully, and sailed all the way to Mozambique. So in Mozambique he found that the Arabs already they established themselves in Mozambique, and he was at Mozambique in the year the following year, that is on 2nd March 1498. So after finding that the Mozambique, the Arabs had already established themselves there, he pretended that he is also a Muslim. Arabs, they were Muslims. So he acted as an imposter. He pretended that he's a Muslim so that they can accept him. So he was accepted in Mozambique, and he stayed there for 27 days, from 2nd March 1498 all the way to 29th March 1498. That's when he left Mozambique for Mombasa. So when he reached at the shore of Mombasa, the Sultan of Mombasa, why did the Vasco da Gama build the pillar? So he built the pillar to act as landmark of the exploration. Everywhere Portuguese explored, they built the pillar. There was a pillar in South Africa, it was destroyed. Another pillar at Mozambique, it was destroyed. Even the first pillar in Malindi was destroyed, but later on this one was erected. So the pillar, Vasco da Gama built it to mark as landmark for exploration. Yeah. So after he was not accepted by the Sultan of Mombasa, he sailed to Malindi, and by then Malindi and Mombasa, they were traditional enemies. So an enemy of Mombasa was a friend of Malindi. Thus, because it was not accepted at Mombasa, the Sultan of Malindi accepted him. He was automatically a friend to Malindi. So the Sultan of Malindi accepted him, and he gave him a pilot to guide him from Malindi all the way to India. So from Malindi to India, honestly, Vasco da Gama was guided by a pilot who was given by the Sultan of Malindi. So after going to India, doing the exploration there, and sailing back, on his way back, that was 1499, is when he built the pillar. So he built the pillar on way back, not when he was going to India. So he built the first pillar next to the mosque. The mosque is next to the museum, but it was destroyed by the Muslim community because they had a problem with the pillar because it was used to erect the cross. You can see the cross the top there. In Portuguese is called the background. It even bears the Portuguese coat of arms. So that's why the Muslim community had a problem with it, so it was demolished. And this one here, 50. To India between 1497 to 1499, and then 1502 to 1503. That's when he built a factory in Malindi, which for now is standing as the chapel. So it was built in the second voyage of Vasco da Gama to India. Then on the third voyage, he built in the third voyage, he died at India. He did sail back. It was on 1524. So he was buried in India, Goa. But later on, the Portuguese government excavated, took his remainings and took them to Lisbon. That's where they have buried the remainings of Vasco da Gama. So they're not in Goa, India. They are currently at Vasco da Gama was buried at Goa, India, but later on the Portuguese government transferred his remainings to Lisbon for burial. So this is the Mtwani beach next to Vasco da Gama pillar. As I said, these rocks here, they act as wave breakers, because if they don't act as wave breakers, they will the waves will erode the pillar. And you can see the pillar behind me, it is even reinforced. It is reinforced and whitewashed. It is whitewashed regularly for maintenance. Yeah, so this is Indian Ocean, but yeah, the ocean is so shallow. Yeah, that one at the fight, it's the Mtwani. It's the Mtwani Park. on the far end, those are silver sand beaches. At least they are the only beach in Malindi which is not influenced by Sabaki. Yeah, you can see, you can even relax here and enjoy the breeze of the ocean next to the pillar. We have those, you can see those beaches there. They are for that purpose. You can relax. The ocean is here, the pillar is here, the guides are there for the history. And currently, the pillar is under National Museums of Kenya. It was gazetted by the colonial government in 1935 to be a national monument. So now it is under National Museums of Kenya. To access it, you pay 100 Kenyan shillings ticket. You access the pillar and 4 more other sites. Yeah. This is the Indian Ocean. You can see people are relaxing even on the shore. And you have also other birds like eagles. You can see eagles there. Yeah, near to that man. Then you can see those guys there coming. Visitors keeps on coming here at this pillar. And actually, here, when you took off to guiding here at the pillar, normally we always have problems when the students come. Actually, Tuangani students is so complicated because you can see these ones are so near here. The shore of the coral, and when you are doing the Tuangaiding, teachers normally when they come here, they also become part of the tourists, so it becomes so hard to control students at the pillar. But we as tour guides here, it's our job. It's part of our job soon. You have to know how to control crowds to be a good tour guide here. You can see there are a lot, and they are all controlled by one tour guide. You have to organize them, you have to assemble them. This is mountain and look at them so that they cannot even jump into the water. Yeah. The ocean has really descended from the Vasco da Gama pillar. Yeah, the ocean here has really descended. Before the ocean descended here, this was a deep sea. So we did explained earlier, this was deep sea before the ocean descended. The pillar is whitewashed for maintenance, mainly. See, there is a student who has drawn a rock at a small stone at the water. So the problems you get is to it's but we persevere. They are part of our job. Yeah. Yeah, people are charged for filming 30,000. I mean, if you want to film, very expensive. But I've never seen somebody pay. But it is the policy of National Museums of Kenya. Once you come here for filming, you pay. Yeah. Kazi kuwa ngumu ikiwa hivyo sasa. Nikuwa security na kitu huko. Ama anaangalia watu huko wasiingie kwa bahari. Kazi kuwa ngumu. Sio ni kazi yako kama tuanga hivi. Na control hao wengine wameenda huko. Walimu ni wamekuwa watu. Sasa hata heri sasa maji hapo kidogo kwa bahari. Maji yakikuwa mengi. Sasa maji yakifika hapo mtoto akiingia hapa anaenda. Hapa labda uwezo wa kufukuza. Okay, I'll sit out this stick for the next 1 hour. Yes. So the pillar it's guarded. You cannot access it without a ticket. That's why you can see even a security guard there. A security guard, I mean. And also controlling the visitors here, particularly the children. Once they come here, you know, they are always vigorous, they are very excited, and it's so easy for them. We can lose them at the ocean. You know, see, this is ocean, and here, the distance here is so great. I mean, these are around 7 feet. Yeah, it's on there. Not even 7, 8 feet to the foot of the ocean here. And once any of the students mtoto akiingia hapa US the tour guide, you are the one to be blamed, or the security. That's what makes our job here really tough. Yeah, that's where our job becomes so difficult when it comes to dealing with things like the pillar, dealing with the guests here at the pillar. But we're excited when the visitors come. Like you can see the visitors here, the way they are vigorous today. We're excited when they are here. So the pillar is under the National Museums of under the National Museums of Kenya, Malindi. So once you pay your ticket, which is 100 Kenyan shillings for a Kenyan citizen, 250 for East Africa residents, and for foreigners is 500. Once you pay the ticket, it's the pillar. You access the pillar, you access the House of Columns, you access the museum and the Portuguese chapel. Yeah, and again, if maybe you are here and you really want to take a nice picture, there are cameramen around who can do that at affordable cost. Yeah, they know how to take nice photographs of the pillar from a very nice angles. Yeah, their cameras are so standard, their quality is so standard. Look at that boy. Astronaut the ocean. Yeah. This so yeah, so I was telling you tour guiding is so difficult, yeah, like to come and meet these children. Sorry, it's tough to contain them. You can see the activities they are doing at the shore of the coast. They are throwing rocks into the water. That one is seated in a position that I don't know. I can say it. That one. Yeah, it is always very difficult to contain them.
Wale maji wale jamaa wanakimbia.
Now another different school is coming. Normally, in Fridays, it's like a day of visitation by the schools.
Double click. Songa karibu baba.
Tuone kama imetuletea sunscreen. Kadi like our life please exit. Let's make our life popular. Like it please. Yes, and ask any question concerning Vasco da Gama. Ask us any question concerning Vasco da Gama. We are here to answer. Ask any question concerning Vasco da Gama. Yeah, here's not so about the historical set like the pillar. Even on the far end of the Indian Ocean, you can look like we have those divers there. Yeah, those are fishermen, and they do fishing. Actually, they do deep sea fishing using the hook method, the hook and spear method. Yeah, that's the method they use in fishing. To catch normally the normal breed of fish they always catch is the octopus. Normally you'll find those people next to the pillar. The pillar is behind me. If you can look, yeah, that's the pillar. So there are a lot of things here to see, not only the pillar, but also the Indian Ocean and the sea divers. They are also part and parcel of the history. And if you like boat riding, yeah, you can enjoy boat riding here. Yeah, even for now in this afternoon the water is descending. As you can see, the wave breakers now, they are agape, they are open. These are the wave breakers next to the pillar, Vasco da Gama pillar. So the water has descended now, and the wave breakers, they have been left agape. They help in containing the waves. The tides are very strong and they can erode the pillar. So you have all those wave breakers here. Yeah, along that perimeter. Yeah, for containing the tides. They are normally for containing the tides. For now, the water is descending. Once it rescends, even you can have a view of the villa directly from the inside the Indian Ocean. Yeah, that's the pillar. That's the Indian Ocean. I said that's the pillar. That's the Indian Ocean. So you can have a glimpse of the pillar. Once the water has descended, you can have photos of the pillar inside the Indian Ocean. You can walk all the way up to where we have those white waves. That's where now the water descends up to. So imagine having photos of the Vasco da Gama pillar from that end. It's really fascinating. You can see people here. They are taking photos of the pillar. It's enjoyable afternoon. It's a really enjoyable